Hello, everybody. Welcome to Road to Endgame, our Marvel movie podcast. I'm Bronson Fiore, joined by Brandon Smith.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about a Marvel movie every single week leading up to Endgame. Some weeks there will be two, due to scheduling. And this week we are looking at Iron Man 2.
Exit the donut.
Yep. Sir, I'm going to have to ask to have you exit the donut. This is the first one of these where we're not just doing generic movie art.
Right.
Uh,
This scene was really good.
the whole scene in the donut shop was really great.
Yeah.
That was a joy for me to see. No, so this one was kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I remember, okay,
I remember
before we get into, talking about the movie, I want to say, I distinctly remember just how much people fucking hated this movie. People talk so much shit about this movie. It's, universally panned. The villain isn't very strong in this one, and people, just don't like it as much as the first Iron Man. And I personally, I think it's as good.
Yeah, same.
I think it's just as
same.
good.
I was kind of what I felt is this entire time I was watching this, I was having a good time, just like the first one. I enjoyed all the not nearly as subtle world building because they knew it was going to be a thing at this point.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little thing to get. He hones the character more. The story, it's just as sharp, just as funny.
Absolutely.
Paced really well. The action scenes are a lot better. Yeah, it's just fucking a great movie, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Got a fucking toothache.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's right in one of the back ones too.
I know that because
No.
I have two wisdom teeth left.
My
But one of them's kind of fucked up.
my teeth are all fucked up, but I have no wisdom teeth. I was born without them.
You lucky bastard.
I'm not that lucky.
Yeah, that's true.
My teeth are all fucked up.
Mine are slightly fucked
I
up.
got bad genetics in terms of teeth. That's pretty much what happened there. People are always like, what do you smoke, or do you just not brush your teeth? And I'm
Do you
like,
use meth?
no,
Lots of meth.
yeah, no, I just have really bad genetics. Both my parents have fucking horrible teeth.
Well,
Yeah.
both my parents have okay teeth, but it's very much a thing where I really lost out on the whole wisdom teeth lottery. Because not only did they come in, they came in crooked.
Great.
And fucked up other teeth.
That sounds horrible.
It was a real fun stretch, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have two left because I couldn't afford to get them all taken out.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
See, the fucked up thing about my teeth is that, we could be having this discussion on the other podcast.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
The fucked
Anyway.
up thing about my teeth is, they didn't really start showing signs of being that fucked up until I was, more of an adult.
Okay.
So I didn't really know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
I didn't know very well that my mom's teeth were as messed up as they were, or that my dad's teeth were as messed up as they were. I don't really, know my dad that well to begin with.
Yeah, okay.
So it's very much one of those things, it kind of took me by surprise, and all my brother's teeth are kind of fucked up too.
In my case, the wisdom teeth thing, I didn't notice it until it was too late. Because they came in late, and then they came in, fucking crowded, and then, came in, a year and a half after college ended.
Right.
For perspective, and I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Well, and the dentist is fucking expensive.
Yeah, no.
It's so stupid when I get why their shit's expensive. They run a lot of really expensive equipment. They probably don't make that much money being a dentist. I'm not sure. All I know is that, I hate that so many things are so fucking expensive, but you, need them to live.
And also, dental insurance is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's only
complete trash.
covers 80% and only up to, $1,500.
Yeah, it's complete garbage.
Fucking, $1,500, that's, two really expensive procedures, if that.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
Anyway, back to Iron Man 2.
Yeah, take care of your teeth, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So movie starts out with you get a little bit of Whiplash's background,
Right.
which that was a nice little setup, especially because it links directly to the end of the first one. Like that was a cool little thing they did with that. Um,
There's so many things that happen in these Phase 1 movies that, like, they never revisit,
mhm,
like, ever. Like, nothing ever comes of it. Like, these
mhm,
first two Iron Man movies are so big on the whole arc reactor thing.
mhm.
Sharing it with the world, making, like, renewable energy a thing, and then, like, nothing.
That like they briefly bring it up in like Avengers 1.
Right, but even
You
then
know,
it's not
like
really, like, a plot point or anything.
yeah, it's
Like,
it's like
even
uh,
in Iron Man 3, where, like, the first two are so solidly, like, grounded in this whole, like, Tony doesn't want to build weapons, but now he's faced with the fact that the Iron Man suit is both a weapon and then in Iron Man 3, like, none of that shit matters. They just don't do anything about that. And it's like, it's crazy to me.
yeah, I'd agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. But I'm gonna wait to give full judgment on that because it's been fucking forever since I've seen those movies. Well, besides Avengers,
Right.
and I want them under fresh eyes. But to focus on this movie, it's really cool to me, like how it just feels like such a natural continuation from the first one.
Yeah.
Like it feels just like this could have literally picked up like hours after, almost in a weird way.
You know what I'm noticing?
Mm.
So on, I think it's Thor?
Mm-hmm.
It's either Thor or Captain America. They have the one shot, the Marvel one shot, the consultant.
Oh.
And that takes place obviously like right after this does.
Mm.
Which is like Agent Coulson and this other guy talking about how General Ross wants to put Abomination on the Avengers. Basically, and they need someone to talk him out of it, so they send Tony.
Oh, and that's the end of Hulk.
And that's the end of Hulk. That's the last scene of Hulk, which I think should have been the post-credit scene, where like Tony goes and talks to General Ross, and that means that the Hulk takes place after Iron Man 2, because he gets the consultant role
Right.
in Iron
right.
Man 2.
And then you have
And then Thor takes place after Iron Man 2 as well, so they both kind of take place
yeah, and
kind of
then
at the same time.
yeah, and then because this movie, the post credit scene is the hammer in the desert.
Well, Coulson leaves like right in the middle of helping Tony to go to New Mexico.
Yeah. By the way, I love that Cap shield bit. Just like you said, the shield.
That's
like,
exactly what I need.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
You just to prop up the machine,
Yeah, that's pretty great.
alluding to other relationship problems later.
Right.
Yeah, that was really good. Coulson was fucking great in this movie.
Yeah.
He was so fucking sharp and funny.
Dude, he's great in all these Phase 1 movies.
Yeah.
I'm like super butthurt that he doesn't come back at all.
Yeah,
like after Avengers, he's kind of fucked.
He just has his own show.
And even that show like wasn't great.
It's fine. Like that's my whole experience on that show. It's like it's not great. It's not
I didn't
awful.
like it. I thought it was boring.
I kind of want to rewatch it now that we're doing all this.
Yeah.
I want to like get caught up on all the Marvel crap before
You can do that, buddy.
Avengers 4.
I'm good on that.
I'm currently in the process of getting caught up on all the games we missed this year, like Into the Breach.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that on the other
Yeah.
podcast, but
Yeah. So no. So I really loved Coulson in this. Nick Fury was great in this. Like
Yeah.
I loved how they really expanded the whole like yes, Avengers is coming thing.
right.
I just love that line. It's just like, if you try and leave the premises, I'll tase you and then go watch Super Nanny.
Right.
Like that was real good.
Black Widow was great.
Black Widow was awesome.
I remember seeing her for the first time on the big screen back in my wee days of comic book nerddom, and I was like, oh, fuck! Like, I wasn't following this movie super closely, so I kind of, like, didn't really know that she was in it. So then, like, Scarlett Johansson shows up, and she's super fucking attractive in this. And she just
As
plays
always.
this, like, right. But she plays this, like, really cute secretary role where she, like, kind of is a badass, but, like, you're not really sure why. And so you're like, the fuck's her deal? Like, at first it kind of seems like a joke.
Yeah.
And then, like, she goes full Black Widow in this, and I'm like, oh, fuck! Like, that's Black Widow!
These movies are 1,000 times better when you don't see all this shit coming.
Right.
It almost makes me like just want to get out of the press cycle for every one of these movies.
The problem with like the later Marvel movies though is that it's so hard not to see all this shit coming. Like you're at a point now where the formula's been like very thoroughly established, and again it works. Like, not to shit on the formula, but like it's so thoroughly established and it exists so thoroughly like in its own box that it's impossible to like separate from the formula. So you're just so like you know exactly what's gonna happen. Like you know exactly what's gonna
versus
happen.
this, which like Black
You're
Widow
kinda
was
still-
a surprise.
Yeah, you're kind of still like in the mode of I don't really totally know what's happening yet, and Black Widow was a surprise, and the Captain America Shield thing was a surprise.
Yeah, the Thor setup was really good.
Yeah,
I got a thing in New Mexico I got to deal with.
yeah. The franchise building is great because like it doesn't assume that you've seen all of these movies and that you're going to watch all of these movies in order to play it off, but it feels like organic and leaves you wondering like why is he going to New Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah, which like that's a great setup. Like obviously we know it's Thor, but
Right.
But like if I show these movies to my mom, who has only seen Doctor Strange,
Right.
like that is a cool setup for someone like her.
She hadn't even seen Iron Man.
Nope, she has only seen Doctor Strange.
Huh.
So
It's a good one to have seen.
yeah, and she saw it on my recommendation because movie's kind of like a new agey kind of hippie type movie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of my aunt and my mom's MO.
Right.
And I was like, yo, you and Aunt Cindy would love Doctor Strange, and it's on Netflix, and they both watched it and they loved it, especially my aunt. So yeah,
Infinity War's on Netflix right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's weird.
Yeah. If you don't have it yet, go watch it.
Yeah.
Easy to get right now.
Yeah, no, it's on Netflix. It was on sale for super cheap during Black Friday.
Yeah.
It's a bummer that none of these Marvel movies that we are buying one by one for this damn show have not been on sale at all.
Bro, I haven't even started buying them yet. I have Infinity War and Spider-Man.
At this point, I'm just missing 3. I'm
Yeah.
missing Civil War, I'm missing Age of Ultron, and I'm missing Doctor Strange.
Right.
I'll probably pick up Doctor Strange next week.
Yeah. I feel like watching Avengers after watching these early Phase 1 movies is going to feel, like, so strange. Like...
I think it's going to be kind of fucking awesome.
I think the opposite. I feel like I'm going to come out of this, like, thinking, like, wow, like, that was the payoff. You know what I mean? Because we had some great setup throughout the last 3 movies. The phase 1 ended very strong, but I distinctly remember Avengers being cool because of all the setup, but not really anything special, like, as a movie.
Yeah, so back to the Iron Man focus. Like, I like how it shows what Iron Man would do when, like, his like, he kind of acknowledges his life is ending.
Right.
Like
Right, that was a great bit of character development.
Yeah, like the giving Rhodey the suit, fucking, like, giving the company to Pepper, like, all that was really cool, especially because Nick Fury points out the suit thing. In fact, Stephanie pointed out what they're watching, it's just like, why doesn't he just, he has to have safety protocols, why do you just turn off the suit? And I'm just like, I remember this, I'm not going to tell you, it's part of the movie.
Right.
But yeah, so that was that was a cool thing for them. Yeah, that was awesome. Just seeing all of the character development for Tony to become the Iron Man we need him to be.
Right.
Which that was really nice. It just feels like more Iron Man 1, and that's a great thing.
I kind of feel like the elephant in the room here is the recasting of Rhodes
That was funny. He's just
from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle. Like,
Don Cheadle.
he's great.
He does a good job.
He does a great job. I think for my money, like, Terrence Howard is kind of, he plays the straight man like too straight, and every scene he's in, he looks like he's fucking crying, or like he's on the verge of tears, and that drives me crazy. But Don Cheadle, to me, feels a lot more organic, and I think his chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. is a lot better.
Right, and also the studio likes him because he doesn't want Iron Man money.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was funny. Look, the movie is not called War Machine, you bitch.
Yeah.
It's called Iron Man.
Yeah. I remember that being a big stink.
Um,
But also, like, like that first Iron Man movie has that War Machine tease where he looks at the
Yeah.
silver suit and he's like, "Not today, baby, not today," and then he fucking drives off, and I'm like, "Why not today? Like, that's the perfect time!" Like, but he just doesn't do it.
and they knew this movie was coming, so it's
Right,
just like,
right. Yeah, no, I think Don Cheadle does a fantastic job.
Mi-
They have like kind of a weird exchange during the hearing when he first shows up. That like kind of hints to like the fact that Rhodey's been recast, but without acknowledging it. Like in universe, like he shows up and he's like, "I'm here. It's me. Get over it." Was like what he said, and I was like, is that you? Is that you, John Favreau?
I really like how like he at the beginning of the movie it just kind of feels like Don Cheadle being himself, and then like as the movie gone on, he okay, you are War Machine.
Yeah.
Like that really fits.
Yeah. I think he does a great job in the character. Love him as an actor. Love him in this. Did you ever watch? What was it that he did? It'll come to me. No, he's great in this though.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I like him. I liked him as a whole. I like his fight with Tony was great. Yeah, that was fucking
set to like that medley of rock songs.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was super cool.
The fight where he helps Tony out, that was cool.
I remember this movie came out with like an AC/DC soundtrack.
Did
It had like its original AC/DC soundtrack, and I thought like, whoa, they made new songs for this, and because it was around the time like they came out with that new album, Black Ice, and like all that other stuff, and then like I looked at the track list and I was like, oh, it's just AC/DC songs.
Yeah,
I've already heard.
When did they stop? Because I know it's in Avengers, and I know it's in this. Like
Avengers is like kind of the last time they
one.
use AC/DC for Iron Man.
I really hope they do it for Endgame.
They won't.
Why?
Because Endgame has a different tone. I don't want them to do it for Endgame.
Like
if they do it for Endgame, it's just gonna feel like so silly and out of place at this point.
I think that like
Infinity War's we have a Hulk callback was neat, but I
just
don't
where
want them
Thanos bitch slaps the Hulk.
I just don't want them to like fill the Endgame with like all these like here's all these movies that we did before. Here's like AC/DC for Iron. Like I need this movie to like take itself seriously and be dark and be real.
All right, that's fine, but I'm gonna ask for one silly thing then, and it's
gonna be hella stupid, isn't it?
It's probably is.
All right.
It's going to be Luis from Iron Man telling us the story of the entire MCU up to that point.
You mean from Ant-Man?
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't want
Not
this?
into it. How would he know?
I don't know.
He's probably snapped out of existence.
Oh no, I think that's actually how Scott gets free. Is they're like, where the fuck's Scotty been? And they go to look for the van.
Well, either way, I don't want any of that silly shit in Endgame. I'm okay with the silly shit in most of it, but I feel like after Infinity War, if you were to try to fill this with like fun little jokes and here's a little quip and all this stuff, it would like kind of ruin the breadth and heaviness of the end of Infinity War.
I think we're gonna get a little of that, but not much.
I just
because like the trailer is like dark all the way until the end.
One thing I'm so fucking sick of in superhero movies that like Aquaman was really good about, and that these early Phase 1 movies were really good about, is like this like desire or this like compulsive need to emphasize the shit out of like just fucking Easter eggs and little things that only the fans are gonna get, and then everybody fucking Googles them and finds out about them anyway and talks about them as if they already knew. I'm just like, it's pointless now. The internet exists and it makes all that shit pointless, and while sometimes it's cool, it just like takes me out of it so fucking bad.
It's like cool on your first viewing if you are there the opening weekend.
Right. Well, and then like you go to a movie like Doctor Strange, which has so little of that. There's like almost none of that in Doctor Strange. It's just trying to be a Doctor Strange movie, and it's my favorite Marvel movie. But then you go to like like fucking Avengers Age of Ultron, which is like
Don't spoil
littered
it, you
with
bitch.
shit. I'm not gonna spoil. There's nothing to spoil. There's nothing to spoil. You're gonna watch that movie and you're gonna be like, wow.
Okay, I hope so. It's the
Like,
only one I
not
haven't
like-
seen.
Not like wow as in like wow, great movie. Just like wow as in like wow, that was a movie.
Okay.
That was
fair
our
enough.
Avengers too.
Well,
Civil War is filled with that shit. Like
yeah.
the DC movies are, except for like Batman v Superman only has that like stupid ass computer scene.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, not really full of, like, little Easter eggs and little haha moments, or, like, you know, like, Wonder Woman's not really filled with that shit. Aquaman doesn't have that much shit.
I think the humor in these Iron Man 1 and 2 has been really good as well.
Well, but it's totally consistent.
Yeah,
That's the thing,
absolutely.
like, the characters makes sense for them to be humorous. Like, Tony's a narcissist. It makes sense that he has, like, all of these, like, quick-witted quips and all this stuff. Like, it makes sense for Thor to be funny because he's like fish out of water, not in his own world, like so macho and full of fucking bravado. And then fucking Captain America's humor is very much like he's so awkward. It makes sense. All of that stuff makes sense.
The general, like, all his jokes, as someone who has...
Wait, in Cap?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we do the Cap.
Yeah,
one.
okay, because I was about to say, like, all his jokes, I'm just like, no, I've hung out with Army Rangers. I had an Army Ranger as a football coach. That's how they behave.
Yeah. But anyway, like, the tone in these early movies is so great because they exist so much in a self-contained world, whereas, like, the later Marvel movies are just like, hey, you remember Ant-Man? You saw Ant-Man, right? LOL. You saw fucking Spider-Man Homecoming or Doctor Strange or whatever, Black Panther. Like, you saw Black Panther. I don't even really feel like in the grand scheme of the MCU we needed movies like Spider-Man Homecoming or Black Panther.
I feel like
they don't play a big role in the overall story.
I'm like fine with that with the team ups. Like when they do that kind of shit in the team ups, I'm like, okay, fine.
I'm like okay with it, but it still feels like
in the individual movies I get like salty about it. Like that's where I get like, fuck you.
Yeah, I hate that shit, especially in the individual movies, and I agree with the team ups. It's a little bit more understandable, but I still feel like even in the team ups, like making all these like little subtle references to all these little movies that happened, it's like, do you really need to do that to me, right? Can you just not make a movie? Like, can we just make the film? Like, instead of doing, like, all these little nods, and the Iron Man 2 is fucking great because, like, they're not little nods, they're, like, major plot points that, like, do build to something, but don't feel like I need to watch the others to, like, do it. You know?
But, like, Iron Man 1 did a lot of that, too, like, the fucking strategic homeland, blah, 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 blah.
That was funny, though. That was different, because it was, like... It was like a funny little... I thought it was a weird joke just because at the end of the movie, like, Pepper tries to recite it back to him and he's like, please, just call us S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, Coulson, why are you such a fucking dickbag? Like, could you have not just... Because then he calls him S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole entire, like, series after that.
Also, I still think back to Iron Man 1, the post-credits scene. I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative.
I am Iron Man.
Yeah, that was great. I'm Iron
fantastic.
Man. And then the end credit scene, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, is still just like, ah.
No, I know, yeah, it's fantastic. It's great.
Just gets so hype.
It's a great post-credit scene.
Same with the post-credit scene in this one. You see the fucking hammer in the ground, you're just like, fucking Thor!
Yeah. Except nobody was excited for Thor when that movie came out. Like, only me. Only me. I was like,
I wasn't,
holy shit!
I wasn't either. I wasn't super excited at the time just because, like...
The thing that convinced me was, like, that first image of Chris Hemsworth in the costume. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, fuck. They, like, actually made Thor. They put the little circles on his costume and everything.
I remember that movie and not liking that movie, and we'll get to that when we discuss that. It's so hard to discuss Iron Man 2 for me because it's, like, it just feels like more of the same. What's the fucking name of the other Hammer?
He's great.
He's fucking hilarious.
He's great, yeah.
I hate his guts, but he's funny.
I knew he was... Yeah, I love Sam Rockwell. He's fantastic.
Just call it the ex-wife.
Yeah.
Just like, hammer tech.
This is my Ninth Symphony. he's like talking this shit up, and then he's like, I'm using the ex-wife, and then just fucking things whiplash a little bit.
Hammer tech.
Yeah.
Hammer tech.
It's good. It's good. Justin Hammer in this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm like bummed that he doesn't show up later.
Yeah,
he's so much fun
in this movie.
I know. That's
you
my
sent
boss.
you sent me a text about that.
I was just sitting there watching it because I've seen him around. I work at the Tesla Gigafactory in Reno. That's my day job, and I've seen him like around.
Have you ever talked to him?
No, you don't talk to Elon Musk when he goes there.
Why not?
Because that's your CEO. He has the power to fire you if he sees you not doing work.
Man, if I I'm not gonna lie,
He's hella intimidating.
if I put in my 2 weeks, I would go up and talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'd be
Here's
like-
the thing, like I held the door open for him once. And he like whizzed by and he was like, "Thanks, man," and like just kept walking. And that's the only exchange I've ever
That's
had.
the only
with Elon
interaction
Musk.
you've had with.
The thing is, like, all the supervisors are hella intimidated by him. He is an intimidating person. He's like 6'4". People don't realize this.
He's tall as hell.
Oh, he's tall as fuck. Everybody says he looks hella short. And I could see it, I guess, but like, he's. I think it's because he's got a big ass head. But like,
well, I mean, at panels, everyone thinks I'm fucking tall, but then I stand up next to you fuckers. And
right,
it's like,
right.
Oh,
Yeah, I probably don't look that tall until I stand either. But
it's the opposite effect for me.
well, and the thing is, like, I'm 6'2", so I tower over like most people that I hang out with.
Yeah, like the only person on staff that you're shorter than is Nick.
Right.
You know,
I met, or I haven't met Elon Musk. I've never like introduced myself to him or like talked to him or anything beyond that like one exchange where I held the door open for him and I didn't even wholly realize who he was. I just held the door open. And like it was only after he like passed by and I saw his like weird face looking at me. He was like, I was like, "Oh, that's Elon Musk." Literally no one in the factory looks like him. So no one on the planet really looks like Elon Musk. He stands out like a sore thumb everywhere he goes, which isn't a bad thing. I'm like, I sound like I'm talking hella shit about my boss. Like, that could get me fired. But, like, it's just weird because he's, like, so fucking tall and he's so fucking ripped.
I would, once again, I would ask him for a selfie.
You people have gotten fired for that before.
So I'll go back to selling insurance.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
He like, you're not even really supposed to take pictures in the Gigafactory. Like,
Yeah, let alone.
Stephanie also works there, and she works quality, so she has a photo pass for that. But like, you have to like be quality or something like that in order to get a photo pass. Like, you're not allowed to take pictures inside the. You sign an NDA.
Yeah,
when
I
you,
know.
like, start the company and everything. So,
Yeah,
well, I mean, not everybody knows like how.
Because I'm saying
not allowed to say like what I do.
Most companies do that are like that because AT&T made me sign one.
Right. Well,
when I worked with AT&T.
But with Tesla in particular, it's like we're working on so much stuff that's like experimental or like new constantly that like, and things are constantly changing that like if we let out even a little bit, like if I was to get into detail about what I did and someone from the Gigafactory happened upon this podcast while I was talking about it, I could get fired.
Great.
And that's just how it is. And Elon Musk could fire me just for like looking at him instead of doing my job.
Fair enough.
Because Nevada's a right to work state.
Yeah.
So you can get fired for anything. But no, Elon Musk is like 6'4". He makes me feel short. He's like,
which is weird because he looks short in this movie.
Right.
Even.
I don't think so. Robert Downey Jr. is not that tall.
He's not, but he looks like as tall as Robert Downey Jr.
That's probably because they want Robert Downey Jr. to look taller.
Yeah.
But
I'm an inch taller than Robert Downey Jr.
I believe it.
A
lot of those movie stars have like these like things in their contracts that are meant to like make them like George Clooney famously like stands on blocks and stuff.
Yeah, did you ever see that picture of like Robert Downey Jr. at an Iron Man trailer with like just everything's normal and then like he has shoes that are like basically lifts?
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Star Wars Episode 3. Mm-hmm. They wanted to get a different person in the Darth Vader suit. Mm-hmm. But Hayden Christensen was like, "You can't make me Anakin Skywalker for 2 movies and then not let me play Darth Vader." But they wanted someone different to play him because Hayden Christensen is not that tall. Mm-hmm. He's like 5'10", whereas like David Prowse as Darth Vader is like 6'5" and fucking towers over everyone and has like big intimidating build.
What's it like being tall, Brendan?
Dude, I don't know. What's it like being short?
It kind of sucks.
Don't have to hit as many branches.
Yeah, but like
kind of more spatially aware, I'm sure, than I am.
Yeah, but you also have to like.
Here's what being tall is like. My neck is horribly craned because I'm so tall. I'm constantly looking below me, to make sure that I'm not like stepping on something fucked up or like tripping over something. Every tall person I know looks at the floor when they walk, which means that naturally my neck is craned and I'm constantly looking down at other people. My back hurts all the fucking time because I'm constantly slouched. For that reason, once again, I have to look down at everything, so I constantly just want to sit. Okay. I just want to sit. My job won't let me do that. My job, by the way, these machines have to be built for like short people and tall people. So like I'm constantly like hunched over. Yeah. Drawing sucks for that reason too, but I love drawing. So there we go. Like that's what being tall is like. You're constantly slouched over and your back hurts.
Okay.
That's what being tall is like.
Yeah.
It's not glamorous, all right? Girls aren't any more attracted to you because you're 6'2".
Yeah, but like
my ex, like the thing that she kept talking to me about as like anytime someone would ask her,
your ex was also like 5'2", right?
She was 5'0" and insane, yeah. But
the shorter the crazier.
Yeah, that's what my mom says. Yeah, keep at him, dude. I never finish my fries.
Cool.
But no, fucking yeah, Elon Musk is super tall. He's ripped, which is another thing people don't realize. But he looks big in that suit, in this too. Like you can see like his muscles.
You see he's built.
He's fucking shredded. Like,
but no, your ex was saying about.
I
want to hear this insanity.
Anytime someone would ask her like what her favorite feature of mine was, or she would do one of those dumbass Facebook quizzes where you just like fill out the thing to talk about your significant other or whatever, she would be like his height, and I'm like,
I don't get it.
Is that all you?
But then like,
is that all you need? But like, I haven't met very many girls who care that much about the thing. I know girls who are like weird about being taller than their significant others, but like height doesn't seem to be as specific an issue.
Like the thing is, like I have met plenty of girls who are like 6 foot and up only, and I'm like, well, fuck you too.
See, that's stupid though, because that like eliminates like so much of the. I mean, don't be like. You could be picky about who you want to be.
No,
with,
absolutely.
But like
that just seems like a real ass.
So my ex, I'm not naming names. She knows exactly who the fuck she is, but like she would constantly talk about
this.
She has.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't really give a fuck.
If you're listening, you know who you are.
Right. But either way, like, she was, like, very specific about, like, because I'm 6'2", she's like, that's the perfect height.
I'm like...
6 foot even is weird, and 6'3" is weird, but 6'2" is perfect. And I'm like...
That's weird as hell.
Why? You know? I never got it. I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but, like, I don't understand it. There's so many things about... Don't put yourself in relationships or situations that aren't good for you, kids, because then after the fact, you'll just go back to this whole situation and you'll be like, the fuck was I doing this whole time? Like, what did I just spend my whole fucking year on? You know what I mean?
But what did I spend so much money and time on?
Yeah, no, I was like flying down to LA this year.
Right, because like, I know you are, and when I'm in relationships, I ball out.
Oh yeah, me too. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like...
My current relationship is far better, by the way. Far better.
Good.
Like we're just a lot more compatible as people, and a huge part of that was like, she and I have been friends for like 2 years and like really close friends for the past year, and she just kind of like knows all of my problems and idiosyncrasies. It wasn't that big a stretch after this last one ended to anticipate that me and her were going to start going out. Yeah.
Fair enough.
A lot of people were like, we knew it before you guys knew it. But like, yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know, yeah. Don't fucking get into situations you don't want to be in. And don't get into situations that make you feel uncomfortable.
Very true.
That's how I'll end that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always just been weird being on the other side of that, just being like... And it's like, it's always girls who are like 5'5" and under. It's like, I want a boyfriend who's 6 foot or taller. And I'm like, well, fuck you too.
Right. You're what, 5'8", 5'9"?
5'8", almost 5'9", yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, girls are hella picky about shit, but like guys are hella picky too. Like it's a two-way street for sure. I hate those fucking memes that are like,
never for height though, man. I've asked out girls who are like 6'1". I've also asked out girls who are like 5'2", so you know.
I think it would be weird if I dated a girl that was taller than me. But
Yao
I also
Ming's sister.
huh?
Yao Ming is a famous basketball player.
Yeah, no,
does
yeah.
Yao Ming have a sister?
Right. No, I mean, like, it would just, not to say that I wouldn't date a girl that was taller than me, it would just be, like, weird, you know? It's just weird, because, like, 6'2" is tall for a guy.
Yeah, that's
you know?
that's like, the average height of the American male is like 5'10".
Yeah, it's like 5'10".
So like, that would be weird as hell. I've dated a girl that's as tall as me, 5'8" even.
Yeah, Kay is that, I think.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like that's a thing.
It is what it is, but like, yeah, I don't know, man. I hate those memes that are like the text conversation between two people and the girl is like, how tall are you? And the guy is like, 5'8", how much do you weigh? And the girl's like, fuck you. I'm like, that's such a dumbass, like, those are two different things, weight and height, first of all. And I know guys who are hella insecure about their height. Mm-hmm. I know way more girls who are hella insecure about their weight, and it's such a bigger deal.
Well, yeah.
And to me, like, it's the difference. I don't feel like you can really height shame someone unless they're at a certain point where they're like, 5'2", and their whole entire life they're just made fun of for their height. That's like a completely different thing from like...
I know people like that.
Yeah.
I know people who are 5'2".
Yeah, I know
men
people
that are 5'2".
I know men who are 5'2" as well who like are insecure about their height and like very much so. And that's
the guy I know fucking owns it like a champ.
Right.
It's great.
I know a couple people who like don't necessarily own it like a champ, and then like one dude who's super pleased with it, but he's also gay, so like that's not a super big deal compared to like guys who date girls who have these expectations of height. Like it just is what it is, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I feel like it's such a fucking shallow, fucked up mindset to like to be like, oh, you only date guys who are like this.
It's like height you can't really control. Weight you can mostly control.
Yeah, well, but
unless you have like a fucking thyroid problem or something.
And even beyond that, it's like again, it's like two different things. It's like two different things altogether. Dudes like to equate like having height issues to having weight issues, but the societal pressure to be attractive is not nearly as heavy on men as it is on women in the first place. It's like two different things. Like,
right.
What a lot of dudes don't understand when they try to do this like anti-feminist, like meninist crap is like, and again, like I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't identify myself as a feminist just for the simple fact that like, I don't agree with a lot of the way that modern feminism, like I wouldn't agree with the way that a lot of modern feminism handles itself, you know? I agree with pretty much everything they're trying to say. I don't agree with the way that they handle it or the way that they try to say it.
Yeah.
But I super don't agree with like anti-feminism or meninism where
How
like...
the fuck don't we do a Joe Rogan style podcast?
Bro, I don't know, man. I always want to just shoot the shit. But,
go on. Sorry.
This is the last thing I'll say about it before we get back to Iron Man 2. Yeah. There's like just not a whole lot to say about this movie, so it's like...
It's a good flick.
It's a good flick. It's funny.
It just feels like a continuation of the fucking first one.
Yeah, it's great. Go watch it.
Whiplash is cool as fuck. He has a great intro.
Yeah, but...
he fucking just slices that car in half.
Yeah, no, the last thing I'll say about this whole meninism, anti-feminism thing is that the reason why I fucking hate it so much is that the conceit of the whole thing is like, well, now women are becoming more powerful than men. We must put a stop to it. And I'm like, you're fucking dumb if you think that's the way the world works, and if you think that that's the way the condition of the world is. And well, the idea of modern feminism is that, like, you know, I don't like the extremist feminists who are like, take down the patriarchy, you know, put them in their place, give them their time of subjugation or whatever. Meanwhile, like actual feminism is all about equality and like...
Well, there's a term for that. I believe it's called... That was ruined by the Meninism folks.
It was like egalitarian or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, that's another thing that was... It was co-opted by the Meninisms to be like...
Yeah, like you you took that out of my fucking like.
Yeah.
Just co-opted that shit so hard.
I know people who identify like egalitarian who like say things sometimes and like again for the most part like I'm like not even for the most part just like all across the board I think people are people. I think it doesn't matter like what your preference is towards like you know what your sexual preference is or what your gender identity is or whatever like just you treat each other like humans and people will treat you like a human. Like it's not hard. It's not a hard concept.
Yeah, like the part like the shit in the weeds that like gets really interesting to me is like when women are like, well, you know, there are like half as many women like working X field. It's just like maybe they just don't want to fucking work on an oil rig.
Well,
like,
even beyond that, like even beyond that, like a lot of what people don't understand is that like it's the same fucking crusty old 50-year-old white dudes that are working in like a lot of these fields now as it was 20 years ago. It's the same people even. Like it's not even like we've just recycled different crusty old white dudes. It's just like these are the dudes
same old white dudes.
Yeah, it's the same ones and they're dying and they're getting, you know, they're retiring and they're moving on. And even if they give their companies to like newer, younger, crusty white dudes, like that's not going to last forever. Like it's just the natural course of things.
And then there's just like sometimes there are the fact that like men are far more likely to go into a job like working on an oil rig or working in manufacturing and shit like that. Just like how women are far more likely to go into the medical field.
Yeah.
Like I work in the medical field. In my office, there are like 20 women to every one dude. You know, like, and that's fine. That's fine. Like,
I work at a factory where everything is manual labor and very physical, and I'm here to tell you, like, this isn't me being sexist. This is just me reporting, like, actual, like, fact. Like, this job is a lot harder for someone who is not built to, like, lift these things. Like, it doesn't mean that women can't lift heavy things. It just means that their bodies literally aren't built for it 9 times out of 10.
Right.
I see so many fucking skinny-ass girls trying to lift these, like, 60, 70, 80-pound things or push these gigantic things, and they just, like, don't have the body weight behind them to do it. So it's, like, it's not... It's just scientific, like, fact that men's bodies tend to be built more for physical activity than women's do, and that and again, that's not to limit women or say they can't do it.
You can absolutely do that shit.
It's just biology. It's literally like the phrase is I think it's
sexual dimorphism.
Sexual dimorphism, where like I think it applies here, where physical secondary sex characteristics take effect that help you identify gender versus like the actual like sex
right. And then there's
characteristics.
And then there's like the chemical setup of the brain where like you know people bring up all the time just like why are women so big into education and medical? It's because like well most women tend to be more nurturing and more caring and more,
I've also heard
I've met caring dudes like
I've also heard the argument that's kind of interesting to me that's like for the longest time, like, women just weren't allowed in those kinds of fields. Like, women weren't really allowed to... one of the reasons I've heard why girls are a lot better in school than guys tend to be, like, they tend to get better grades, and your, like, valedictorian tends to usually be, like, a girl and stuff like that, is because, like, men have kind of always been allowed to have an education and learn to read and do stuff like that, whereas, like, for girls, it's fairly recent that they're allowed to, like, really expand their horizons and study and everything, so they tend to just be more like, I guess, biologically inclined to want to pursue that, whereas guys have always had that sort of... Pretty much since school started, it's always been, like, dudes.
Absolutely.
So, I think...
But then, like, on the other side of that, like...
That's purely subconscious and, like, bred into your, like, secondary sex characteristics. But, and again, I don't think that's the rule. That's just kind of... the data.
There's a lot of shit that's data that there are obviously outliers to all this. Like, once again, going back to there are plenty of male nurses.
I've heard the argument against egalitarian inherently being that, like, this is kind of an interesting concept that I don't wholly agree with, but that I think is kind of an interesting thing to explore a little bit, which is that, like, you can't have everything being totally equal because people aren't the exact same. Like,
Well,
not everybody's the same. But I think that
you can't have everyone be equal. Like, as far as like, but you can't.
some
have
people are stronger, some people are smarter,
Yeah.
some people are, you know.
Right. You can't have everyone have equal opportunity and
That's
rights.
kind of my
Everyone
takeaway
can
from
go fucking work on an oil rig. Everyone can be a fucking nurse. Everyone can go be a teacher. Everyone can go, like, as long as you can develop the skill set to do those fucking jobs, you can go.
Most
do
people
them.
can't. Like, here's the thing. Like, you can do whatever you fucking want.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, you can do anything you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is literally, like, built to be able to take in fucking information and shit it out in a manner that, like, with enough time, with enough practice, with enough, like, you know, development, you can be just as strong as anybody else. You can be just as fast or just as smart or just as well-read. You know, like, some people have the natural inclination towards that stuff,
Right.
but that doesn't completely shut you off from it.
Yeah, like, and there are cases where it's just like, okay, if you're 5'9", you're probably never going to be a fucking point guard for the Lakers.
You probably, I don't know.
No, like, very unlikely.
Pretty unlikely, but at the same time, that's not going to stop you from playing basketball.
Yeah, you'd be great at basketball, but like like I said, it's more unlikely. You know, you're fucking, like, also if you're
It's just more incentive to try harder. All it means is like you've put in more work than the guy who's like 6'5" and is the natural obvious choice because he can touch the hoop fucking standing.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's all it is. That's the only difference.
And then like you have those cases that like in athletics at least this really is where you get like the greatest of all time, the guys who are like biologically built for it and bust their ass.
So like to me it's like kind of one of those things like if you aren't naturally artistically inclined, for example, I can only really speak from like an artist standpoint because I do a lot of drawing myself. I'm not like, you don't really see my stuff on TGA, but like I do a lot of drawing. I'm fairly competent at what I do. I'm confident in my ability to like produce pleasing aesthetics and you know, all that stuff. This isn't a brag session. But like I'm confident in my abilities like artistically, and a large part of that is just because I've been drawing my whole life. But I know so many people who are like, man, I wish I could draw. Every time I fucking draw, someone's always like, I wish I could draw. I can only draw stick figures. And I'm like, so you can draw stick figures?
So fucking draw.
That's a start, yeah.
Just start drawing.
Start drawing. Like,
Well,
if you want to do it, you'll do it. That's the real...
It's just like how, like...
If you want to make videos or podcasts, you'll do it.
Like,
you know?
I hear people that will listen to these shows all the time and be like, man, I want to get into podcasting. I've...
Just do it,
Yeah, we had...
We're recording 4 today.
Yeah.
This is one of our off days, and we're recording 4 of them. This one's probably running too long because we're supposed to be talking about Iron Man 2.
Yeah. So let's get back to Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. Everybody is just as good as the other person. Like, nobody's better or worse than anyone. Just don't treat people like shit, and you can do it.
Yeah. Work hard.
And Tony has one of those moments.
Yeah,
in this movie,
he
when he invents a new element.
Yeah, he has to invent a new element so he
not
doesn't
everybody
die.
can create a new element, so
he uses Dad's research and then his research.
It's actually like a really cool character developing thing.
There's a lot more of that building shit that I liked from the first one in this one. I like the scenes where Iron Man has to build shit. It's cool.
It is very cool. It is very cool. No, yeah, Iron Man 2 is great. I think we can wrap up the Iron Man 2 one.
Get my bird.
I want my bird. Yeah.
Where he fucking hangs those 2 dudes with electrical wires. And,
right.
I don't know, yeah, Blackwood,
everything's great. Everything's great about it. Whiplash is cool, but like kind of the weakest part of it.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Bronson in the car, I felt like Creed 2 did it better, where like you have the son of the guy who like got fucked over by the father, and now he's coming after the son of the other guy for fucking revenge. And like Creed 2 does it amazing. Iron Man 2 does it.
Can we talk about how fucking sick that last fight with against all the robots was? Not against Whiplash himself, the drones, but against the drones.
It's cool, but it looks like shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
The Iron Man suit looks worse and worse as these movies progress. Like, it starts off looking so fucking good, and then, like, the more these movies get made, the, like, worse it looks.
Which is weird.
In Infinity War, it deadass looks like a fucking ZBrush model with no textures.
Reboot.
It, like, works in Infinity War because everything else is CG, but it don't look good.
Yeah. Okay.
And in this one, you're like, it still looks pretty good. It's starting to like show its age a little bit.
So there's two last things I want to bring up about this one. Larry King, Stan Lee.
Great cameo.
Solid.
Great cameo.
How do you rate the cameo out of 5? I give it a 3.
Middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah,
3.
it's 3. Okay. And then
Not bad. Not like super fucking amazing, memorable. Not bad.
And then finally, what do you rate the movie out of 5?
Like 3.5. I'm gonna give it like a 3.54. Only because like with a sequel, you really want to aim to like be better than the first one. I feel like this one was just as good as the first one.
Because of that, I actually give it a 4. I mean, the first one a 4, this one's a 4. It's basically the same thing.
I give it a 3.5 just because I wanted more. Like I had more problems with this one than I had with the first one. It's definitely going to be lower on the list of like Phase 1
fair
rankings
enough.
when we get to that.
Yep, in 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone, that's Iron Man 2, and then some life advice and feminism.
Yeah, this podcast got a little derailed. We'll try to keep them a little bit more focused.
Bye, I'll be back next week with Thor.
We love you.
Bye at the Gamer Access everywhere.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.